When we moved into the old Victorian house, it seemed like a perfect escape. My wife, Emily, and I were looking for a fresh start, and this quiet house, tucked away in a sleepy town, seemed like the ideal place to rebuild. But from the first night, something felt off. The air was heavy, and the silence was broken only by the occasional creaking of the house. It wasn't long before I started hearing noises at night, faint scratching, as though something was inside the walls, moving just out of sight. At first, I dismissed it as old house noises or maybe rodents. But the scratching grew louder, more insistent, as if something was trying to get out. It followed us from room to room, scratching behind the walls wherever we went. Every night, it grew more unsettling. Emily started noticing it, too. One evening, while we were watching TV, she muted the sound and stared at me. "Do you hear that?" I paused. "Hear what?" "That scratching noise. It's been going on for days." Relieved that it wasn't just me, I nodded. "Yeah, I hear it. I'll call an exterminator tomorrow." The exterminator came the next day and inspected the house from top to bottom. He set traps, sealed what he called entry points, and assured us the problem would be gone in no time. But the scratching didn't stop. It intensified, spreading through the house like an infestation. Worse, it was no longer just scratching. Occasionally, I'd hear faint whispers, too soft to understand, but unmistakably there. Emily's mood began to change. She grew distant, agitated, and became obsessed with cleaning, as though trying to rid the house of something unseen. She stopped sleeping, waking up at night, her breath ragged, claiming something had crawled into bed with us. Her skin turned pale, and dark circles formed under her eyes. One night, I woke to find her standing in the corner of our bedroom, staring at the wall. She didn't respond when I called her name. I got out of bed, approaching her slowly. "Emily?" I whispered. She turned to me, her face slack, eyes vacant. "It's inside the walls," she muttered. "It's been here all along." Without another word, she walked out of the room and down to the basement. I followed her, heart racing. I hadn't spent much time in the basement. It gave me a bad feeling, but as I watched her kneel by one of the walls, something clicked. The bricks in this part of the basement didn't match the rest of the house. It was as if this wall had been built hastily, patched together by someone in a hurry. Before I could stop her, Emily started clawing at the wall with her nails, scraping at the bricks in a frenzy. "We have to let it out," she whispered. I grabbed her arm, trying to pull her away, but she yanked free and continued scratching until her fingers bled. Finally, she pulled a brick loose, revealing a dark, narrow space behind the wall. The stench that came out was overwhelming, rotten, decayed, like something long dead. I shone my flashlight into the space, and that's when I saw it. Curled up in the darkness was a figure, pale and twisted, its body grotesquely contorted. Its skin was almost translucent, stretched over long, bony limbs. Its face was a horrifying distortion of human features, with black, sunken eyes and a wide, toothless grin. It stirred, slowly uncurling itself, its gaze locked onto us. Emily stared at the thing, mesmerized. "It's been watching us," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's been waiting." Panic surged through me. I grabbed her, pulling her away from the wall as the thing began to crawl out of its hiding place, its long fingers scraping the floor. The whispers grew louder, filling the room, though I couldn't understand them. It felt like the walls themselves were speaking. I slammed the basement door shut and dragged Emily upstairs. We didn't stop until we were outside, breathing in the cold night air. We left the house that night and never returned. No one believed us, of course. We were just another couple spooked by the old haunted house on the hill. But the thing in the walls was real. And even now, in our new home, far from that cursed place, I sometimes hear it at night, the soft scratching in the walls, reminding me that it's still waiting.